I don't know any other alternative recording programs with cartoon faces. I don't have a frame of reference.
That have human-like names.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we'll find another one someday. Because it is Wednesday, August 5th. You know what that means? It is Season 3, Episode 15 of Bliss Point, a music curation and conversations podcast serving up music discussion, news, show and album reviews, and more. You can check us out at bliss.house, bliss.haus. We have a playlist that will go along with this episode. Hashtag Mixdown Monday. There's going to be some good stuff in there. Namely, some things we're about to talk about. Because since we don't have any shows, per usual, I'm going to jump right into my single this week. And that is a Miss Chong the Nomad. Has a track called Take Two. And she just continues her run as being one of the best up-and-coming voices in hip-hop and R&B right now. She has such a cool ear for production and beats, and she just has a great flow on this beat. It's just very playful. It's very bouncy. It's very different. She got some like MIDI flutes that kind of sound like they're from an old Final Fantasy game. It's real fucking cool. If you haven't checked her out before, I certainly suggest you do so now. I don't know if she has an album on the way, but hopefully soon. Speaking of album on the way, Billy, you want to give us the rundown?
Yeah, I guess Touche Amore announced that they have their new album coming out sometime in October, I believe. So they released their first single with the announcement, and it's with the one and only Andy Hall. I mean, I don't know. Which is kind of
crazy. I never expected them to run in the same circle.
Yeah, I mean, do you know if they were they friends before all this? Have they ever toured together or anything like that?
No, actually.
I don't either.
Yeah, I don't know. I wonder if I didn't read the article close enough about their new album to know if he was like, maybe he's producing. Oh no, he's not.
No, it's Ross Robinson who is famous for the acts like Slipknot and Korn.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
Yeah. So an interesting little departure for him, I guess, as well. But I mean, based off this first single, this first single is everything you want from this kind of post-hardcore scene. And then, I mean, Andy Hall's feature is an Andy Hall feature, right? I mean,
yeah, he's got the chops for like a nice emo bridge. So
yep.
He knows how to do those. And based on a cursory search on the internet, apparently there's a Touche Amore song that is written about Andy Hall. So,
really?
Yeah, I guess they're good friends now.
Okay.
A mutual friend introduced them, and he
does it paint him in a positive limelight?
I don't know. I haven't heard the song. Nice.
Well done, Paul.
God damn it! But yeah, it's a great song. It's a really good song, and I'm surprised that Sarah likes it. Sarah, my wife, she enjoys it.
Because her taste is bad?
Wow.
No, I'm asking why it's a surprise.
No, I just
really you should be disappointed in you.
That's fair. She's not typically into like hardcore stuff like this, so I wonder if Andy, kind of pulls the weight, or if she just really enjoys it. She was like, "Are all of their songs like talk singing?" And I was like, "Kind of,
pretty much,
kind of. They're kind of like La Dispute, but I feel like they're better and less talk singy." So I don't know.
I would agree with that. I was surprised it took so long for his feature to come in.
Oh, what did it say?
No, just like within the song, I was expecting the chorus to have him.
Yes.
I wasn't expecting to be like the last quarter of the song with the bridge.
Yeah, and it comes at like, it's kind of weird because I feel like he doesn't really fit all that well. Like he just comes in out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I like it when the singer Jeremy Bolm is kind of interlaced with him, and he's kind of shouting over him, and Andy's singing at him. That's the best part.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it's solid. It's real solid. Paul, you want to tell us about Open Mike Eagle?
Yeah. So he's an artist. Anyway, the new single that came out is called Neighborhood Protection Spell, and then some other stuff behind it that I won't try to pronounce. But it's his typical lyricism, simplistic beat, but the production's really nice, and I like his style.
Yeah, Mike's the shit, and
it's kind of hard not to recommend anything he comes out with.
Yeah, I don't know if he's got a new album on the way. I'm sure he does. He's pretty prolific, so always looking forward to his next project, just because of how interesting his lyricism always is.
I still want him to do a buddy cop thing with Mr. Brown.
Yes, that'd be awesome. All right, shout-outs. These are going to be albums that we may have almost made our albums of the week, maybe just haven't had a chance to get full into, or maybe feel personally attacked by. My two, because I couldn't pick just one because I'm a monster, two very short EPs, both very, very different bands. One is called Skullcrusher, and she has a new EP out called, it's just self-titled EP. It is not metal by any means. It is just some straight gorgeous bedroom emo folk. It's very, very short. It's like 10 minutes long. There's one song on there that's not even a minute long. It's just really, really good. It's haunting, and her production is really nice. I mean, it's obviously very lo-fi because she literally records in her bedroom. I think she made this EP while she was unemployed. So hopefully she has a job now, but she's also able to continue music because this is really good.
Yeah, she might be able to turn this into a job.
Yeah, I hope so.
She was never unemployed, Jordan. She was a musician.
Sorry, it's in all of us, really. And the other EP was Dos Monos, is I believe they're Japanese. I'm gonna check that before I get that wrong. Yes, they are a Japanese experimental hip hop group. They have a new EP called Dos Siki. They're just fucking awesome. They have a really unique sound, and they're able to create a really unique flow. And like of all the Japanese hip hop that I've heard, I feel like it just feels a little off kilter. Like just the way that, you know, the Japanese hip hop artists that I listen to that rap in Japanese, it doesn't feel like it can ride the beat as well as, say, your normal, you know, trap artist or whatever. But these guys have such a good ear for the like fundamentals of hip hop that I feel like they're going to be going places for sure. There's a great Injury Reserve feature, and yeah, I hope you check it out if you're into hip hop, and really good, solid production. Mr. Billy, you want to know what's all about Cub Sport?
Yeah, Cub Sport released an album called Like Nirvana, which I just thought was funny, and for some reason was not expecting this kind of vibe when I went into this album. They're, I believe, previously known for doing more of the like dream pop type stuff, but it seems like with this album they really kind of scrapped that for more just honest, kind of stripped back, more, I don't know, I don't know how to describe it, to be honest. It's very weird. Honestly, when I was listening to it, I was like, I feel like this is like Perfume Genius, but better.
It's kind of shoegazy, but like not super. I don't know. I feel like it's not like dream pop. I think it's still a good description, but it's not really poppy.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just kind of got this like. I mean, it's got a little bit of like an 80s vibe to it. It's got some bigger drums at parts, but it's also very stripped back in other parts, and vocally it's kind of stripped back, and some of it is very like spoken word almost. But yeah, I don't know. I just like, it just sets this mood and this vibe that when I was listening to it, I was just super into it. I thought it was great. I've gone back and listened to it a bunch of times since then, and it's been equally as good, and I've just grown to enjoy it even more as I've listened to it more and more. So it makes me curious to go back and listen to their other stuff, because I don't recall really liking it all that much when I listened to them before, but I don't know. I just really, really was stoked with this album, and it was giving my album of the week a run for its money.
Yeah, it's because I'd never heard of them before up until like today. And I like was reading through their Spotify about just because I was curious, and most of those are never filled out, but theirs actually has a real description in there. Mm-hmm. So I was like, oh, like this is interesting, and it's well written. So I was like, maybe this was added recently, and I mean, apparently they've sold out countless, international tours. So I'm like, they're a big deal, I guess, but I've never heard of them.
Yeah, I think they're like huge they're from Australia, and I think they're like huge in Australia and maybe that part of the world, and hadn't quite, I feel like with most Australian bands, like they don't make it over here all that often just because it's such a trek.
Yeah, they're so, I don't want to say intertwined with Europe, but I feel like Australian bands will try Europe first.
Right.
Maybe that's just conjecture or anecdotal, but yeah, it feels like coming to the U.S. is a lot harder for sure.
Yeah, for sure. So I could see. I mean, I think once things start back up, I definitely see them taking a big leap.
Yeah, it seems like they're kind of poised for a kind of a breakout. They just seem like very much that type of music, and it was one of those things. It's funny, like I couldn't find anything like necessarily like that I didn't like about it. I just didn't really get it, and I was like, man, like this makes me feel old. Like this kind of makes me feel like like talking to someone who enjoys the 1975. I'm like, I just don't get it. Like I know it's not for me. I don't think it's necessarily bad. It's just like I don't. What am I not getting?
Yeah, no, I hear you. I was almost thinking like this feels like the 1975 for adults. Like that's kind of the vibe I got. Like or at least for like the 30-year-olds that like still want to feel like they're 22.
Yeah, because that's always been my thing. Is like, whenever I find someone that's like our age that likes the 1975, I'm like, isn't that like music for teens?
Like, right.
Isn't that like focus tested? Like not for you? I don't know. That's probably rude.
I don't know. That's right. Maybe British would call you a sexist. Not like new music anymore.
Yeah, that's fair. All right. Albums of the week. These are going to be the best albums we've heard all week. It should be easy locks for our albums of the year. Speaking of, hope you guys like this record because I'm going to be talking about it forever. Leanne LaHavas put out her new self-titled record. And I just cannot get enough of it. It's just front to back, just so gorgeous. The production is amazing. Her songwriting's really, really good. She's a really good like blend of piano keys, drums, and bass on every song, and like guitar is usually just a really cool textural element. And it's just like there's so many songs that just groove really, really well. Like I think she lends herself well to the like jazzy kind of R&B style. Like her voice is super husky and sexy, and it's got a great range. And I love every song on this record, and especially like her cover of Radiohead's Weird Fishes. Like I feel like if you'd never heard the original, you just would never know. Like I feel like she did such a good job flipping it and making it her own song, and it gives me goosebumps every time. And I cannot express enough how much I usually hate when people put cover songs on their like long form records unless they're like a cover album. And this just feels like it fits right in. Like it fits the flow of the record very well, and is just that it's so good. And she's got this song later in the record called 7 Times, and it just has an insane groove to it. And there's a fucking flute solo, like out of nowhere. Wasn't expecting it. I don't know if you guys got a chance to check it out. But if you're into that like poppy kind of R&B style, certainly give it a shot. It's so good. So good. All right. Billy? You want to introduce this surprise we got here?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how you define surprise, considering it's probably been the most talked about album of the last 2 weeks.
Well, surprise for me is it surprising when the Patriots win the Super Bowl? I mean, now it is. But, oh, what a surprise!
But for being a podcast that really prides itself on music curation and discovery, this probably isn't quite going to fit the bill. But if you haven't heard of Taylor Swift, she put out a new album.
Maybe you haven't heard of her yet.
She's branching into the folk world, I guess, right?
Really just taking everything for her own, you know?
Yeah, right. You know, why stick with one genre and dominate that when you can dominate all genres?
Yeah.
But I mean, even with all the like just critical acclaim and everything like that, I mean, I feel like it's as good as advertised, right?
I think I would agree for the most part. Like if anything, the production by itself is just stunning. Like, it is insane. Like how much she stripped back her sound, and it really. I think for me, as someone who hasn't liked a Taylor Swift record in quite a while, to hear this record and really see how she takes on the whole kind of quarantine record was just really interesting.
I couldn't believe. Oh no! Once again, it shouldn't be surprising, but it's another, like, it's done so very well. You expect her albums to have good production, but I just didn't think she'd be so genuine and believable in this kind of a mode.
It's that Aaron Dessner touch, man.
Dude, I mean, I think that's what gets me, is just the fact that she handpicked this team of people to work with the first person she went to being Aaron Dessner of The National. I mean, like, I just think that was super cool and just such a great stylistic choice to kind of branch out like that. And
The National.
It's got...
Change my mind, this is bad.
It's Paul's favorite band.
Garbage. I didn't mean anything nice I said.
But yeah, I mean, I think, it's got The National written all over it, I feel like.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like, This Is Me Trying, I think specifically just feels like I could hear Matt singing that hook. And, like, yeah, there's a lot of good songs. Billy, how did you feel, or I guess both, how did you feel about the Bon Iver song?
So I was just going to say, did you wish that feature was Mac Berninger instead?
Yes, absolutely.
So rude.
I think I don't like his baritone voice. Like, that's not what I enjoy about Bon Iver, and to hear him singing in, like, kind of a flat baritone, I just didn't enjoy. I don't know. It seems to me that I'm the only one, because the rest of the internet loves that song. But
would you like a nice tenor that kind of floats on the wind?
Yeah, exactly.
Is that more the Bon Iver sound?
Yeah. He's got the weird falsettos and the screaming electronics. Like, give me that, you know?
Sure.
But yeah, I don't know. Billy, did you find yourself, like, I think my only complaint with the record is that I find myself getting a little bored towards the end.
So, and I don't get it. I mean, this is just going to forever be a problem right now, but, like, going an hour in length and going 16 songs, like, you just don't need that last third of it.
Yeah.
You know, keep it to 10 or 11 and it'd be perfect. And I felt the same way. Like, just that last, like, third of it, I just kind of started fading because it was kind of repetitive. Like, and then when I listened to it on repeat, like, that first half of the album is just so good.
Yeah,
like,
really
it's
is.
Already so catchy. I already know the words. And then that's the second half, or that last third, is just like, just don't care as much. It's just not as catchy, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I think, like, it maybe speaks volumes that, like, because I was listening to it this morning, and then I put it on shuffle because I was like, I haven't really heard the back half, and I'm really tired of going through the front half and then getting bored. So I just put it on shuffle, just kind of hear everything, and I actually enjoyed it a lot more because I got to hear the songs that I hadn't heard as much. And yeah, I don't know that that's, you know, necessarily her issue. It's more mine, but I think you could cut probably at least 3 songs, and I think it would be a better experience overall.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
No, it was awesome.
Yeah. I'm I myself am surprised. I surprised myself. That was the surprise all along.
I'm glad that you're surprised. I love Taylor Swift, so I had super high expectations.
Hey man, I love 1989. I've been looking for an excuse to stop disliking her, but to me, I think this record she really was only putting out there because she couldn't stand that Kanye was in the spotlight for too long. Just saying. Anyway, Paul, do you wanna give us the rundown on your album?
Well, I mean, yeah, I could do that. I want to give Billy a lesson on what a 1.5 hour runtime can be. Magic. And so my pick is Blue in Exile. It came out with an album called Miles, and I love this thing. I don't think the length feels labored at all. There's definitely some moments where they do long intros, things like that. There's even some moments that are a little bit cheesy, but I think that comes with the territory with the kind of sampling that they're using. There's a definite Jay Dilla vibe in this, just in kind of like the surprising sampling and kind of the whimsical side of the melodies they're using. But I really love the storytelling. I love the verses. The production overall is great. Was curious if either of you got a chance to listen to it.
Yeah,
Paul, go for it, Jordan.
Okay. I've been bumping it since you recommended it, or rather since you made it your pick. I was excited to check it out to begin with. When I loaded up for the first time, I was like, Jesus Christ, an hour and a half. Like, I don't know about this, but yeah, I'm with you, Paul. Like this is probably the first album ever that I've ever experienced this long, and I never found myself getting disinterested. Like, I loved every song, and I think Blue does such an amazing job with his storytelling that every song feels worth it. And obviously, Exile, the production is incredible, and the sampling is just super tasteful and really well done. And I definitely hear an argument about cutting some of the fluff. Like, there's a lot of long outros and long intros, but you're right. Like it adds to the character and the mythology of the record, because it's all about family and growing up Black in America and being Black throughout history, and adding, those, I don't know what the relation is, but the Jacinto Rines is the older gentleman that does some of the intros and outros on here. He kind of like, he's not a great singer, but like he has like a weird verse on The Feeling at the end of it. And he has so much charm to him. It's like you're sitting in a room listening to your grandpa, like, read verse or like tell a story, that's just how I felt about it anyway.
I think that's a great description, because there's a lot of things I could never really judge the authenticity of myself, but even some of the intros and the way they're going about kind of the historical Black leaders they're referencing, and the way he approaches it kind of like a high school kid learning a fact for the first time, it can play off as cheesy, but I think that's exactly what it was supposed to do. That's very much, you're connected to something that you have pride in, but it's also been so far removed from you that it's just a really strange way to go about it.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Billy, you were going to say something before I rudely interrupted you?
No. I just I would agree with everything you guys said, and I guess I will kind of bite my tongue with what I just said as far as length, because I do agree that I didn't get bored of this as it went on. Yeah, great pick, Paul.
There's a weird track on here that's just a shout out to a bunch of people that have passed, and I was trying to figure out what the theme of it was, but then it went from like celebrities out to victims of police brutality and everything else, and it was just like everyone that came to his head that he misses. But they should just have him start doing those in memoriam things at award shows. It'd be much better.
Yeah, you're right, because it's like he does it because like once I was like really paying attention to everything that he was saying, I was like, he's just listing off names, and like in any other award ceremony or whatever, it's just a flat like name, but he like almost tries to link them together in a rhythmic fashion, almost like it's a verse. And it's just an interesting way to deliver that list of people that he, obviously looks up to. And
and it wasn't even people recently gone. It was like he talked about Gene Wilder and
yeah.
There's just a lot of fun surprises on this one. I probably say it about a lot of the picks. So there's if you listen to us regularly, there's a pattern forming. But if you really liked where hip hop was, at least the better artists toward the latter end of the 90s, early 2000s, this is definitely worth checking out in terms of how the style is.
Definitely. Yeah, this is certainly like tippity top of that kind of backpack era of hip hop, if that's something you're into.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
And if you're curious about the singles and albums we talked about today and the ones we didn't, there will be a playlist up on the site containing all the singles and the best tracks from this week's albums. That site is bliss.house, bliss.haus. Please, please, please check out the playlist. Obviously, it'll feature Blue in Exile. It'll have some Taylor Swift on there. It'll have Chong the Nomad. It'll have the great Touche Amore track. It'll have that Open Mic Eagle that we talked about. And I even put the new Sylvanoso track is real good. I like that a lot. Billy, I don't know if you're into them. But nice. I like them a lot. And this is kind of more of them in their style. But definitely check out that playlist. Check us out on all the places podcasts are listened to or ignored, like, subscribe, follow, etc. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. I love you all. And that website, in case you didn't hear it the first 30,000 times, is bliss.house. Bliss.haus. And as always, thanks for coming, fellas.
Thank you. Always such a good host.